episode of NYLON Manila
Voices!
Voices, 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 voices. Where everyone gets a chance to speak their minds, including the voices in our heads, as you may have heard. Kanina, diba, Nica? Voices, 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 voices. So welcome to the space where we listen, discuss, and learn as we navigate through life as Generation Now. I'm Bianca.
And I'm Nica. And you know what, Bianca? Today's episode is much needed actually.
Why?
Because just as Jessie J prophesied, it's all about the money.
Money, money.
Today on NYLON Manila Voices, we're talking about how to be financially aware and prepared. Basically,
Period. Kailangan
how we
natin
can
yun.
secure the bag
Secure the bag.
as students and young professionals. But actually, before we get into anything, if you're not familiar with us yet, Bianca, tell the world what NYLON Manila Voices is all about.
Got you. So NYLON Manila Voices is the podcast where we discuss all things we as the young generation wish we knew so that we have the proper tools to navigate the world as Generation Now.
Period.
So in Voices, Nica, as you may know, we
should
have
know.
we have 3 segments. So we have What's the Sitch, in where we lay down the facts of what is exactly on our NYLON Manila radar. So what are the common issues that we as young people experience when it comes to our money, and what are our financial goals?
Meron ba kayo? Meron ka nun?
Meron naman.
Oh, period.
Sana naman.
After that, we're spilling the tea with our guests. What are their personal situations and habits involving money? What are some things that are working for them or not working for them in terms of reaching these goals?
Yes, and lastly, we are sending out the bat signal and calling our experts who have seen and heard it all, otherwise known as the SOS segment.
SOS!
SOS. And in SOS, this is where we can learn about how to deal with our finances just a little better.
Okay, I'm kind of excited for this one.
Yeah.
I need
'Cause
this.
God knows
Need this.
we need
need
this.
this.
Amen.
Period.
So, let us get into our first segment with What's the Sitch?
So, everybody, welcome to What's the Sitch. Right now, we are joined by student designer Collins Latonio, BS Clothing Tech at UP Diliman, who you may have seen his bow bag designs on social media, not just there, but also on global fashion icon Heart Evangelista, Nations Girl Group member Bini Maloy, and the Philippines box office superstar Vice Ganda.
Wow. Period. And also here with us is Kiara Mae Yau, digital and social media marketer, host, and graduate of BS Applied Economics, major in financial economics and BS Marketing Management from De La Salle University.
Period.
Wow.
Period.
Wow. So, Collins and Kiara, if we didn't do it already, could you guys introduce yourselves? Maybe say something about yourselves.
That
And
we
how are you
haven't said yet.
feeling? How are you feeling today, guys?
All right. Hi, my name's Collins. My pronouns are he, they. I am a trans mask fashion student and I make bags for a living, I guess, right now. So I'm currently a clothing technology student and I'm very glad to be here.
Yay! We're happy to have you. Okay.
Alright,
Yes,
so I'm
Kiara.
Kiara. I just recently graduated actually, like 2 months ago.
Period. As
So I'm a
we may have
fresh
wrapped- We
graduate.
may have wrapped out.
I know, I'm a
Literally.
fresh graduate. So, ayun, nagtitipid-tipid. So I'm so excited to share what I have for finance today.
Woo. We're excited to hear.
Exactly. On that note,
Go.
everybody, what's the sitch? You know, what's on your radar? As Gen Z ourselves, we'll talk a little more generally about like the current situation of like Gen Z and their finances. You know, for instance, what are some common like financial issues students and fresh graduates face?
I would say trying to balance living within my means but also like exploring the world. I feel like it's such a young thing to do, to like try and bag as many experiences as possible. So having to do that on top of like having a daily budget, that's one thing I would say that I would face as a student.
Okay, for me naman, actually, yeah, I super agree to what you said about never spending above your means talaga. Okay, so just a brief background because I've been working ever since I was freshman. So if you guys have seen my TikTok. So
Plug.
I think
it.
what's hard is thinking of ways to make money work for you. I think that's one thing that I struggled with the most because I truly believe na instead of for me, instead of budgeting, I would like to think of ways on how to make it bigger so that I could spend more, travel more, do things more. So yeah, and I think we can talk about it more later. Yeah, that's it for me.
Well, actually, super interesting because Anika and I were also students not too long ago. I think we're
Last
just.
year.
I feel like we're just a batch above you, right, Kiara? You
Yeah.
graduated this year. We graduated last year. So I don't know, Nika. Would you say na parang more or less same boat? Are we on the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
boat
I think
with?
coming from like college and then like working, it's very different. You're trying to like live independently as you can, syempre, like from your parents, and also like you're like, oh my god, I have the world at my feet. Ano kayang pwede kong
Yeah,
bilhin?
very
Ganun.
much that.
Especially, I think with
Mm.
the pressure right now of social media in a way, and our
Yeah.
generation, and know, you know what they say, like hustle culture. Also, I think
Yeah,
that
that
plays a
that
huge
too.
factor.
I love how hustle culture has like passed down from like diba, it's a millennial term, diba?
Hear
Hustle,
that,
the hustle.
millennials?
I think so.
But no,
Yeah.
really, it is a millennial term, diba? Like
Yeah, no, that's true.
it's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hustle
yeah, yeah.
generation. It's so funny how it's passed down to like Gen Zs. Like we have to hustle now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
Collins, you're gonna
because
say something.
like I also think I would definitely agree that like there's that sort of pressure as well. Because I feel like social media is very poised to make us think that at this age we should be like living independently, but like
Exactly.
Yes.
I don't think
Shaking.
that's
Like
possible
you
just
should
quite
afford this,
yet.
you should
Yeah,
afford
yeah,
that.
Shaking in my boots. In this
Diba?
economy,
Yeah.
like, with everything we have to spend for.
No, it's true. Like when older
Yes, you're
generations
right.
are like, when I was your age, I bought a house. So like, can I buy
Kaya
a
nga,
house
grabe
I
now?
can barely afford my rent.
Like my parents are like, oh, at your age, I had you.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having a child.
Baka yun lang yung kaya ko, hindi na yung house. Yun na yung kaya ko.
I wanna go to Hong Kong.
Me like booking my flight to like international countries, and they're like, at your age, I had a family.
Di ko na kaya yun.
Sure, when I'm a housewife. But if I'm gonna spend, no thank you.
Tama.
Yeah.
Housewife.
In line with that though, like right now, Siguro, what are like your priority, like what are your financial goals at the moment?
Oh, um, I'd like to be able to not depend so much on my parents that they can retire. Like if we're talking about like big financial goals, I want my parents to be able to retire because in my family I'm the only student left. So the age gap between me and my siblings is 7 and 9 years. So
Wow.
yeah, so my parents are basically like working because I'm also from the province. So I understand as well like the responsibility of making sure that I help them as well. So that's my personal biggest financial goal, I would say.
What about you, Kiara?
For me, actually, 5 years na ako nag-work. So, since
My
19.
gosh.
Wait, I'm
20
23. So, mga 18, ganon. I think enough na yung na-save up ko. So, right now, my goal is to definitely travel to where I want to go talaga. I
Yeah.
think that's it for this year. But I think that's also a factor also. Like we talk about finance. For me, yung mahirap sa finance right now na parang since I think I'm at the peak of my age where I can work, parang mahirap siya isingit with time naman, I think. So that's what I want to talk about also. Like financial goals on my end would definitely be having more time for myself. So that's it for me for this year.
Ooh, slay.
So, how do
Very.
I want that for me.
I want to go to Hong Kong.
You really want to go to Hong Kong?
I've been saying it since a while ago, but Hong Kong was like literally the first country that popped into my head.
You know why? Kasi gumagastos siya doon ng todo.
No, guys, be responsible with your finances. Charot. Okay, what about you, Nika? Financial goals.
Financial goals. Honestly, I want to be able to save up for, oh my God, hala, my dreams
Hala.
and aspirations. I
siya.
want to be able to save up to take a master's abroad. Like I
Oh,
don't want
that's
to like just depend on
lovely.
my parents
Yeah.
for my tuition and everything. So I want to save up for that. But I live my life.
I love that. Me too. I want to take a master's abroad someday. So
Me
I feel you. I
three.
feel you.
Me three. For example, my financial goals naman, I want to be able to get to that point where I can spend without having to think about like, do I have to save for this? Do I have to save for this? Do I have to pay for this? Do I have to pay for that? Like I want to be able to get to that level of stability.
Yeah,
with
like
my
that
finances.
that amount
Yeah.
of like
And
liberation.
without having to depend on anyone also.
Yeah.
And also, same with you. I want to be able to save enough to study abroad, study my master's, because we were students in the pandemic and we couldn't really go
Oh,
out.
I understand. Yeah.
In our school there was like an exchange program,
Yeah.
like,
Us also.
and then it was only our year that was cancelled.
And then they offer it per online.
Yeah, they offered it. So you studied at 2 a.m. or something like that.
Mag-TikTok
So
pa lang
it's
ako.
always been like a dream of mine to study abroad then and get to understand
Yeah.
like
When I was in high school, we had this like little like week that was an exchange with students in Japan, and I was like, I want to do this, but like for years.
forever.
To note that also, I was thinking like goals also. I think it's to be more like to know more exactly about like where to put my money or like what to do
Yeah.
with it. Hindi lang yung
That's
it's just
true.
like I just like get like save
Like,
it and everything. Like, where can I put it so I can like get more?
For
You know,
lack
like
of a better
oh,
term,
yeah.
like
Get more.
interest rates.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
who
yeah,
has
yeah,
the highest
Like the
one,
stock
like-
market.
Yeah. We're art student here. That's why
Mira,
Kiara's here,
humanities.
guys.
No.
No.
Oh no.
For ano naman, your current situation, like what how are you like spending your money and what usually takes up like most of your budget?
For me, most of my budget definitely goes to my business.
Right.
Because when I started my business, I was doing pre-order basis because I'm gonna be completely honest, I did not have the money for the capital. Like I was doing pre-orders because I needed the money to fund the business. And now I feel grateful enough that I've grown to a point where I can have on-hand orders. But it definitely started with pre-order basis because there's a lot of money that goes into a business, you guys. I didn't realize
Yes.
until
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
way in there. So that's
Bianca relates.
definitely
little too
definitely
much.
like yeah. That's definitely like the number one thing that is occupying my finances right now. The business, totally.
Okay, for me naman, how I spend my money first right now is I always think about ROI ko ba to. So, okay, relating it to my career since I'm a content creator, host, ganon. When I buy something, like for example, a camera, I don't just buy it because I like it. I buy it because I know na it's gonna help me earn money. Like that's how I think talaga. Like with clothes also, like I
Oh my
repeat a lot of
god. Yeah.
stuff.
Like the
Yeah.
cost per wear. Do you guys know
Yeah.
that? If
Oh
I
my
buy
God.
these shoes and then wear them
Ito guys,
100
200
times.
na lang to a day.
Yeah. 200 a day. I do that a lot. I totally
Diba?
relate to that
Yeah.
one.
So I think that's very important also. Kailangan ROI talaga. In terms of budgeting, I gotta be honest na I'm so blessed to live with my parents pa rin. So in terms of rent, everything that's free for now. So in terms of budgeting, I don't really think of like that aspect pa. It's more of like me investing in my career and like
I wish
investing
me
in
too.
businesses. Yeah. But yun nga also, like, if you have the means to also to stay with your parents pa rin,
Yeah.
make
Yes.
it that way. Like, I know na how social media is pressuring us na, oh, living a lone life,
Mm-mm.
living in BGC, ganyan. But always think about the practicality side of it. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true. Like I
diba?
feel like you can also like compensate for the fact that you're living with your parents with other experiences that aren't as taxing on the finances as living alone. Like definitely for me as somebody who is living alone and has two separate spaces, one for my home and one for my business, I would do anything to be able to live with my parents so that I can save enough money. And so I personally think that if you have the capacity to, if you are in a good position enough, live with your parents
Right.
for a
If
bit.
you're afforded the
exactly.
privilege
Ayun,
to
Yeah,
buy.
like, don't
They're
just go
willing.
out lang for the sake of living
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minsan kasi masasayang mo din yung pera mo na ano.
It's a lot.
Doing that. It's a
Grabe
lot.
yung
It's a
rent
lot.
ngayon.
In this
Yeah.
economy.
In this economy.
In this economy
Grabe,
again.
magkano pa lang yung minimum wage and also the rent. Like, I know
Yeah.
a few of my friends na mas konti pa nga yung sweldo nila kaysa sa rent. So,
Yeah.
so they're making ends meet through
Yes.
freelancing jobs. So,
Yes. I have a lot of friends who still live with their parents, but I do have a good share of friends that live alone. And I agree with you guys. Na if you do have the capacity and you do have that really blessed privilege to be with your parents, then, why not do it if it helps you in the long term, diba? I mean,
I think
ayun.
it also can save, parang makakaroon ka rin ng emergency funds and also
Yeah.
savings. I think it's
Yeah.
very important to
So-
build it up as young as possible.
Yeah. So, like, while you have it, well, it's there.
Yeah,
Might as well
definitely.
take
Might as
it.
well. Might as
Yeah.
well.
And there are situations, for example, where you have to live alone.
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
exactly do we make the most out of that, and how do we
Yeah.
navigate through situations like that? Because you have a very unique situation. Like, there are a lot of students like you that live alone and are students,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
don't have a steady income all the time. Then you have a business and all of that.
Yes,
But
yes, I do.
it's just so complex. I mean,
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
go on
yeah.
and on and
we,
on
we
about
will
the
get
different
into
kinds
that
of
actually
people.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are your perspectives on how we see this economy? What are your perspectives on the state?
Kasi generally, yung, as you said, like yung the rising cost of things and like the mindset to be like to save up kasi nga it's harder. It's a little harder to earn. It's a different world from like our parents before, diba? So anything else you can
Definitely,
add to
yeah.
like your thoughts on that?
For me, I would say that the rising cost is definitely something that everybody should take into account. I feel like, yeah, it's not that great, you guys. It's really bad. So I feel like I would hope that more people become more understanding of that, because it definitely plays like a big part into how we have to like budget and how to finance our lifestyles while living lifestyles that we want to live, like filled with experiences, filled with laughter and mirth.
Laughter, mirth, love.
Live,
So-
laugh, love.
So yeah, like I think that's a very big part of it, like understanding the economy. And I would say also advocating for yourself, definitely. Like not letting these people who have lived in different contexts dictate the way that you should live now. Like it's very easy to like get carried away and feel like so much pressure. But I feel like a lot of recentering is very necessary to live a pressure free life.
Pressure free life.
I think bouncing off of that, like growing up. I mean, like studying, like growing up in school, kamo. Like, I didn't get a lot of parang lessons on. Maybe this is, sorry to my teachers if this isn't okay, but like,
That's true.
parang we didn't learn a lot about inflation, how to file your
know.
taxes, what
I
what do
agree with that.
taxes actually like
Yeah, that's
mean.
true.
major.
We didn't study tax.
Oh my gosh.
we did study tax law though, but not as in depth. Because right now I'm filing my own tax as a freelancer. It's
Yeah.
not the same. Parang,
The
but it's not the same.
spotlight on the things that you should actually know about finances, how to navigate through that, isn't really highlighted as we're growing up in school. As in, it's really like, okay,
it's like you're thrust into the adult
buy and
world.
sell.
Yeah,
That's really it. Like,
Buy and sell.
yeah, that's so true.
you know, if someone works, you give them money. Or it's like
Yeah.
that, but it doesn't. You never really go into it masyado.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like on your first job or like you're starting to freelance or you're starting a business. Like you're really like Googling everything. You're Googling like
That's so
everything that you
true.
need to
Oh my
ano.
God.
Kasi I'm like, ganito pala yung deductions, ganito pala yung
Ang
tax.
laki pala ng tax.
Sobrang
Sobrang
pala ng
laki.
tax, depende sa gagawin mo.
Oh my God. It's so, ang laki ng tax, guys. As in, nagulat na lang ako.
You're like
I-
thrust into the fire, diba?
Yeah. So parang right now when I count like how much like kunyari, freelance job, I have to take into account the tax talaga. Ang laki. Sobra. So imagine when you live alone, how much is your tax na lang, diba?
Yeah, exactly. So, with financial situations in general, they can be vastly different, as we can see in this panel alone. We do have very different perspectives. And while we won't be able to cover every single perspective here, we can delve into your experiences and maybe our guests later on as well, and find a way to sort of navigate through all of this, because we do have so many questions, right? Like, what are taxes?
We will not.
How do you save?
No.
How much did you save? So, navigating these similar problems, and to get into it more, this is why we have the segment Spill the Tea. Wow.
Yeah. We'll start spilling your tea.
So, Collins and Kiara, thank you so much for sharing about your financial goals. And thank you, Nica, also, I guess.
Thank you, Bianca.
So now, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be getting into spilling your finance tea in a bit, because now joining us is lifestyle and travel content creator and business owner Justine Sy.
Thank you for having me.
my name's Justine Sy. I'm a lifestyle and content creator and now a business owner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have two business owners on the couch
Yes.
right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. Okay, let us get into the financial sitch. So, for everyone here, as a student and a business owner, can you guys spill the tea about your current financial situation and what does it look like? Let's not get into numbers, guys, huh? No numbers here. Pero ano, let's briefly give us an intro. Spill the tea, guys. So, any of you can start.
For me, as a student and a small business owner, I would say I'm comfortable enough to buy things that I like, but not completely like splurge yet on stuff. So I currently pay for a separate unit from my home. So that's more or less what my financial situation's like. I'm able to be the one to pay for my flights going home because again, I come from the province. So it's a comfortable situation, I would say, for the most part. But when it's downtime, it's downtime. If you know what I'm saying. So
Downtime.
yeah, that's my financial situation.
How about you, Justine?
Okay, so startup pa lang naman kami sa business. So we started last February, pero I think okay naman siya so far. Like, business is good. I wouldn't say sobrang nahihirapan. Just the normal
Yeah, like
na
stereotypical
problems, right?
stuff. Yeah.
Na kaya naman siya because also as a content creator, nakakatulong din yon to fund the business. So far, yun yung ano ko naman, okay sa akin. Yun.
So we have the business owners, and then of course we have our freelancer queen who
Oh my
files
God.
her own taxes. By the way,
Very
don't
big,
come at
very
me,
big.
May BIR dyan.
Kala nyo, I can show you proof.
sige nga.
Nabasa ng numbers.
Anyway, for me naman, it's comfortable naman on my end. Like,
Mhm.
so many opportunities are coming in. But as a freelancer, kasi may mga dead months as what you mentioned, diba? So, may days talaga na kunyari right now, since it's holiday, or kapag ka-summer, usually that's where the projects are coming in. Medyo nagsaset aside ako ng budget talaga for the days na, or for the months na I know na there are not much projects coming in. So, that's it for me.
Following up on that, kasi you graduated, ano nga, your 3 degree. I mean,
Two lang.
Two lang pala. Oh, my bad. Economics. But yeah, you studied economics kasi, diba? So like, you've earned a lot of experience with your jobs that you started since you were 18. So what are like some things that you learned like in classes or with all those like internships and work that you've done that you've come to apply to the work that you do now?
I think like when it comes to financing talaga, budget talaga plays a huge part. When I got my first salary ever when I was 18, 19, ganon, talagang hindi ko siya splurge. Sobrang tinipid ko siya.
You're better
Yun
than
talaga,
me.
guys. I know na it's tempting to splurge on mga designer bags, ganon. Actually, I don't own one. Right now talaga, I really want to save it up for my future disposable income talaga. So, that's my financial goal as for me. But it differs naman per person. Depende talaga siya with your priorities in life. As for me, since I'm comfortably living with my parents and what I'm just thinking right now, yung gas ko lang, ganon, not the rent. So, I think that's where I focus more on when it comes to my financial goals. And that's what I learned throughout the years.
Ako, I'm saving up for Collins bow bags.
Oh my God,
Kasi
thank you
they make
guys. Thank you so much.
good. They're so good.
Guys,
Thank you.
Ang ganda talaga ng bow bags ni Colin.
Guys,
Saving
ako
up.
lang to. Oh my God.
Baka naman. We really
Baka
Oh my God.
bow bags. Charot. Okay, so a question naman for Justine. So what do you think stresses Gen Zs out when it comes to finances? Or actually, even for you, what stresses you out when it comes to finances?
The bills. The
That's so
bills talaga.
real.
Kasi right now, I live with my boyfriend. So, medyo ibang level na kami ng, ng paggagastos. So,
That's
it's not
true.
just me. It's like, kaming dalawa na to. And we have a dog. So, I guess, yun yung, lahat naman sa bills talaga yun. How to keep paying your bills na walang late payments. Yun yung pinakamahirap. Your face was like,
Yeah, I'm thinking it.
like a late payments.
Pero so far, wala pa naman kami naging late payments. So, ibig sabihin, we're doing something right with the finances.
That's true.
Period.
Sana
Sige.
all.
Ano pala siya? Good credit score.
Yun
Yes.
nga.
Well,
No credits.
I don't wanna brag.
I think kasi like one of the problems I think we face na kahit, like the credit score stuff, we're not spending like too much, but it's more like the how-tos. Like as we said earlier, yung mga like how do you deal with like your the taxes? Like how do you talk to a bank? It's kind of scary actually. Like
Oh, that's so true.
walking in there. And I'm like, diba?
Kaya mo yan. Madali lang yun.
That's why you're here, Justine. Because I can. Kasi, you know what? Oh my God, same. Kasi the first time I walked into a bank alone without my mother, it was the scariest moment of my life. Of my life. Hindi kasi, also, parang having to, file the paper.
I don't know how to fill it up at first.
Yeah, you just do this online. Or, ang daming,
Like when you have to like get there early because there are gonna be a lot of people and you're just like waiting. I don't know if all banks do this, but there are certain banks that don't allow phones inside, and like
Yeah.
you're
Yes,
so
yes,
anxious,
yes,
and
yes,
you're
yes.
like,
like
I wanna call my
going
mom.
through that.
This is very Gen Z, ano?
It's very Gen Z, na very
It's like part
introverted.
of like,
Like we went through.
sorry, millennial term ulit, but like the adulting side of it in which like, yun nga, you don't know how to do these things.
Yes.
So like,
Yeah.
yun nga, like, as we said, no credit score, no
Low credit score, low
no
score, high score.
investments,
Oo,
ganun.
lahat na. So, ayun, that's why you're here, Justine, because
Thank you so
as you can see, we
much.
were terrified. We're all terrified of the parang, how to handle your
So, dapat
finances.
pala kasama niyo ako pag punta kayo sa
Oo,
bank.
yeah. Mom,
Kailangan.
I'm okay. I have Justine.
Video call.
Justine. So, ayun. Justine, what are the ways that you have managed your finances? And then these, like, what has worked for you so far?
First of all, self-discipline. Because...
Medyo na-call out ako
Wait,
doon.
explain ko yon. Explain ko kung bakit kailangan nyo ng self-discipline when you manage your finances. Siyempre, you want to save, di ba? But at the same time, you also want to be able to buy the things that you want. Pero, ang hirap kasi nun kapag syempre gustong-gusto mo na yung thing na yun. Ako, what I do when I want to buy something is I think about it parang multiple times. Kailangan mo ng intense discipline sa sarili mo. Like, do I really need this or do I just want this thing?
Yeah, I also do that as well. I do the
Ganon.
like, if I still want it in 3 days, then I'll get it.
Right?
Yeah.
Parang
Parang rule na siya.
mabilis nga lang yung 3 days eh.
Oh my God.
Well,
I have the
sorry,
48-hour rule. Na parang, okay, I see something. Ako
days
nga
sa kanya.
48 hours, 2 days lang eh. Kasi 3 days sila. Sabi ni Justine ko, that's short pa eh. How long do you usually wait?
A month?
A month?
A month?
Wait,
wala na.
Wala na yung bond.
Wala na.
Wala na. Sale anymore.
Hindi na sale.
2 months ahead, pero chinek ko kahapon yung gusto ko, like, camera. Siyempre, wala na. Pero that's a sign na
then
din.
it's a sign,
At
yeah.
least nakasave.
Yeah, you do the
Yeah.
whole, maybe it's
Oo.
not for me.
Yes,
it's not
yes.
meant for
Mindset.
me. Yeah, mindset. Mindset
Discipline
lang
and
ba?
mindset
Yeah,
are very
that's
important
true.
when it
But
comes to
also
managing.
kasi, kailangan mo rin, ito rin ginagawa ko recently. And I think nakuha ko to, I picked this up from my mom, yung ginagawa niya from before pa. Meron siyang expenses book. So yun, like you
Oh.
really have to, parang i-jot down mo lahat ng mga expenses na nagawa mo, even the little things, even the parking fee, even everything. So kailangan talaga makita mo kung saan mo
Up
pinagagastos
to
sa
the
yung
like
pera.
last
Rinig
peso.
niyo yun?
Like
Ignorance
no
is not
rounding
bliss.
up. Yeah.
No,
It's
hindi.
I think kulang ng piso.
Not bliss, you guys.
Guys, are you
Yun.
listening? Are you listening? Are you listening talaga? So,
Pero yun,
Yeah.
parang those things help me to manage
Yeah.
my finances.
I guess it's more general, but like, what does it mean to be like financially literate? Syempre, there's a lot of like factors that go into that, but like in general, I guess, especially now, so you're transitioning from like a student to a business owner to a fresh grad who's working. Ganun.
For me, number one thing about being financially literate is knowing how much money you have and how much money you make, because ignorance is not bliss.
It
So
is
that's the first thing. Like, you have to know how much you make and how much you have, because that's where you're able to like budget properly and allocate properly. Just being very cognizant of the things that you spend for, like the things that are fixed. So the rent that you make, your bills and stuff like that. I think that's the first step to being more financially literate, because the moment that you stray because you're unaware of how much you're making, how much you're supposed to spend, that's where it can all go wrong for me.
Okay. So for me naman, what it means to be financially literate means knowing how to earn and how to grow your money. Saving money is one thing. But knowing how to grow your money, paano mo paikutin yung pera na yan properly, na hindi ka mawawalan, is like the best thing talaga. Kailangan mong matutunan kung paano gawin yun eh.
For me naman, I live by this quote, yung ano, like, make money work for you, don't work for money. I think, nakita ko lang siya sa Pinterest. Ano ba yan? Pinterest na ba?
Oh, talaga?
It's not from me.
Pinterest talaga.
Not even like,
Sorry, that was just a Pinterest, and I resonate with it a lot.
yeah.
So yun, for me, super agree to both what you said. Yun talaga. I think what plays a factor also with money talaga or being financially literate is to know where to invest. Kung nasa bank yung pera mo, maghanap ka ng ways on how to to grow it. Pupunta ka sa bank mo, ask.
Okay, unfortunately, like it is like it's scary, but like you do have to do these things. Kasi
You do have to do
it
these
helps.
things.
It helps.
Like yung mga time deposit, ganon. I think.
Yeah, we're long way from like
For
hiding
the
money
people
under the
in the
bed,
room
ganon,
that don't
or in a
know what
chest
that
in your
is.
bedroom.
Yeah, so parang ano, there are
What's
a
a
lot of
time
ways.
deposit?
Yeah.
Hindi ako nagaganyan.
Like for example lang.
For the people in the room
Like
who
for example,
don't
you
know
have
what that
savings
is.
na hindi mo
You don't know what time
ginagamit.
deposit is?
Oh yeah, Bianca, what the time deposit?
Ah,
Sige nga,
I-
go.
Guys, hindi ako. Guys, host lang ako
Sorry.
dito eh.
Sorry.
I just said it.
Anyway,
Okay,
That's it for
You explain the time deposit.
So basically, kapag ka nagsa-savings ka, pag may savings ka kasi sa bank na hindi mo ginagalaw na pera, you can put it sa time deposit. Tapos like there's a percentage that you can earn in a year. Like
Yes.
Yes, yes,
okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
So there are a lot of
Alam ko na pala yun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wala lang
Sorry,
yung name.
guys.
Yung
I just
name
didn't know what it
wala
was
lang.
called.
okay.
So basically yun, there are a lot of
Yes.
ways na pwede mong galawin yung pera mo to make money.
True.
So,
Galawin
yun.
not by spending
Spending it, ah.
not by spending
Putting
it.
it lang somewhere.
Putting
Okay, so is there a specific moment or experience that you guys went through that made you realize the value of saving and spending your money wisely?
For me, I think the biggest moment was when I had to like move from pre-orders to on-hand orders. So I mentioned this earlier that I used to do pre-orders because I needed money to like finance capital and stuff. And so
Mhm.
when I moved to on-hand orders because I'm starting to do weekend markets now, I basically had to like invest a lot of money and a lot of it came from my savings account. So I'm very, very grateful that it was ingrained to me when I was very young that I should have a savings account. I do have like some peers that don't have one, and I always tell them that you should get one because you never really know. So I am very lucky and very grateful that I did not experience something so drastic in that moment, like sort of recency bias that made me realize like, oh, it's budgeting and like savings are very important because otherwise I would not have the business to continue. So yeah.
Ang seryoso nung sagot mo. Sa akin,
I'm sorry.
may pa-story time ako.
Sorry.
Ito yung time na nag-OJT ako in the US. So, parang para sa akin yung pera ko noon, wow, dollars. Ang dami kong nakukuha. Ngayon, I was young. I was like 18, 19. Tapos, masyado kasi ako na ano dun sa peer pressure, sa trends, yung ganyan. Ito yung nauuso pa yung Yeezys.
Yeah. Yeezys, those were so
Okay.
expensive.
So expensive.
Yeah.
And nung time na yun, parang mahirap pa siyang kunin. Yung mga ganon. Eh ngayon, syempre gusto kong maki-ride sa trend. And even if di naman ako, mukha ba ako nagsi-streetwear? Parang hindi naman ako.
Yeezys with this outfit.
Pero kasi everyone had it. Yung mga friends ko meron. So nung time na yun, sabi ko, parang gusto ko itong kunin. Sis, yung Yeezys na nakuha ko noon was like 40,000 pesos. So,
That's a lot of
sobrang-
money before.
That's intense. And lalo na, ano ko noon, student pa naman ako, OJT money ko yung ginamit ko noon. Pero kasi,
Nasa'yo pa ba yung Yeezys?
wala na.
Oh,
Resell mo ba, girl?
Niresell ko siya but for a lower price. Siyempre kasi
Damn.
nagamit ko na and
Yeah.
all, 'di ba? So ngayon, yung buong savings na inano ko nun sa pag-work ko, yun yung ginamit ko. Because yung sinabi nung friend ko, ay bagay sa'yo, bagay. So sabi ko, bagay sa akin.
Budol.
Okay,
Gastadora
Budol
friend.
culture.
Yeah.
Nika yung barkada natin, sobrang budol culture yun. Alam mo, pagpasok namin sa like, for example, like, yung mga stores na may blind boxes na ganun. Oh, my God, lahat kami. May isang
Kunin
blind
mo yan,
box.
kunin mo yan.
Kunin mo yan.
I'll
Pag
get
yan
it if
sa'yo.
you'll get
Yeah,
it.
it's, it's this line. It's the I'll get it if you get it. That's so bad.
Talaga.
And-
Wag nang gano'n yung
Easy mo. I get it if I get it.
My friends, my best friends, they have this saying that's so it's so budol. It's always, you know what? The money will come back.
Yun nga, Laging ganon.
Yeah.
Pero 1K lang yung blind box. Ito 40K.
Hindi naman sa nakikipag-compete.
At least, pero you were happy.
I was happy at that time until like next month. Di na ako masaya.
Happy lang siya for about the first
Oo.
5,000.
Tapos nung naapak-apakan ko na, nadumihan na, ito lang pala yun. Ganun na. Pero yun, I think that was parang medyo trauma.
Kaya specific experience
Specific
siya.
experience. After nung time na yun, doon ako nag-ano na, you know what, when I want this thing, talagang iisipin ko. That's what I said earlier, na kailangan ko na talagang isipin. Kasi after nun, sabi ko, yung time na tinrabaho ko, napunta lang sa sapatos na binenta ko rin naman for half of the price. Kaya wala.
Oh my
Like, it
gosh.
has to come from you talaga. It can't be like
Oo.
external pressure.
Yeah.
So,
Don't be pressured. Yun,
because of
pressure.
Yun, kailangan talaga you have to spend your money wisely, save it, kunin mo yon if you really want it nang matagal na, pero wag kang magkaroon ng impulsive decisions or like, because it's a trend. Gets? So, yun. That's my experience.
How about you, Kiara?
For me naman, parang ako kasi generally, bata pa lang ako, sobrang tipid ko na as in. So never ako nagka-moment na, oh, I want this. I'll get it. Never talaga. Even with phones, everything. None. So, I think also like with what you mentioned kanina, may rule din ako like when I was a kid,
Yeah.
nung bata pa lang ako. The fact na I'm thinking twice about buying this thing, it means I cannot afford it. I don't like it as much, so we won't buy it. Parang pag may friend ako, bibilin ko ba tong blind box? Lagi kong sinasabi, the fact na pinag-iisipan mo yan, hindi mo kailangan. So, ganon.
Kailangan Koripot
Sino ba may
queen.
kailangan ng blind box?
Oo, parang ganon.
Rinig niyo yan?
Exactly.
Rinig mo ba yan?
Yung inner child ko, kailangan niya ng blind box.
But make her
Grabe
happy.
naman, oo. Pero hindi naman super
Yeah.
tipid Siyempre, may mga luho din na for sure, bibilhin mo talaga. Because it makes you happy.
Yeah.
And then there's a sense of satisfaction kasi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's very important also to fill
Yeah.
that in, diba?
Yeah, actually, I want to share my answer to this question. Like with specific experiences, when I realized talaga the value in saving and spending your money was when I got my first job. Like when I got my first paycheck, having to deal with debit cards and credit cards na hindi kasi like throughout college baon lang yun eh. Like parang
Cash lang
I only get
talaga.
cash.
True.
Yeah, so this was my first time ever experiencing what it was like to hold a card, what it meant to save your salary, what it meant to spend it.
I used to never use like my first card. Kaya nag-expire siya. Then
Ano
I had
siya,
to-
debit
And then I had
card?
to go to the bank.
Ano to? Like,
The worst fear.
Ako, like you actually, I was tipid then as a child. But then I think
Yeah.
going from like college, yung ipon-ipon lang, and then going to like work, parang nabibigla na lang ako na, ba't parang wala na akong pera? Saan na pupunta yung pera ko?
yeah.
So, I do save naman talaga. I don't really buy a lot of things. Ako yung pag nasa friend group na kami, ako yung, di ko kailangan ng blind box. Hindi ako nag-blind box!
Pero may blind box pa. So, what's your
Pero
blind
may-
box?
Saan galing yung shoes?
Anong shoe? Hindi, blind box!
Hindi, okay, in fairness, me and Nica are very alike in that sense. Na parang when we have to spend money, it's very like,
Yeah,
like, do we do this?
honestly,
We have
like
to do this now.
me too now, cause yun nga, I live alone. So the whole like, where is my money going is so real. Like things eat up your budget way faster than you think they would. Cause yung kakakuha lang ng allowance, tas biglang, oh my god, girl, where did it
Ubus
go?
na.
Yeah.
Being financially free is really not like, hindi
It's
nga talaga
not.
ignorance is, it's not ignorance is bliss, you guys. Like,
It's
financial freedom is a responsibility.
it's a responsibility.
Really. Yeah.
So what are the markers that we need to what are the factors that we should consider when we want to be financially free?
Being financially free or having financial freedom means that parang, yun nga, when you can buy the thing that you want. Ako, I like to travel. Anong nag-combine talaga tayo? I like to travel. So, gusto ko sana na parang when I wanna go to this country, pwede ko na siyang puntahan. Like, ganun talaga, like, sobrang dami kong excess money na pwede kong magamit pa for yung mga luho na ganun. Yan.
Yeah, na may fallback ka.
Yes, na meron pa rin siyang, parang kunyari, may 1 million, ganyan. Hindi ko gagamitin 800,000 agad for, yung ganon,
Yeah,
parang, gets nyo na yun.
Oo.
Yeah. Like not feeling the burden afterwards. Like
Yes.
when all of the spending's done, you
Oo.
don't go, oh my
Na
God,
parang,
what
oh
did
my
I
God,
just
where
do?
can I get
Mm-mm.
the money ulit na
Mm-mm.
spend ko? Ganon. Parang meron pa rin siyang extra. Yun. I want to reach that financial freedom. Grabe.
For me
Mm.
naman, kasi diba, I was working since freshman. So, since freshman kasi, I don't have allowance na. As in, ako na lahat. Sobrang tipid ko nun. I commute every time. So, nung naranasan ko yung financial freedom, I guess when nung nakapag-grab na ako. Yeah. I think, grabe. Since, kasi before, like,
Grabe.
even if I have events, I would, from QC to BGC, commute yun. LRT, Jeep, LRT, MRT, BGC bus. 60 pesos lang kasi siya. So, before kasi I was like, oh, I'm gonna save this up because I wanna travel in the future. Ganon. So, that's how my life was nung working student ako. So, yun, dun ko siya naranasan. And nung nagkaroon na rin ako ng disposable income. Yung when I buy things, hindi na siya parang, pag may gusto ako, nabibili ko na siya ng hindi ko iniisip. Ganon. So, that's financial freedom for me. As of the moment, yeah.
I think ako, as you
Yeah.
said, like, transitioning from like being a student nga to like working, it's
Yeah.
also about like where the money is going, I guess, in a sense na, yun nga, before allowance would be just like cash, diba? So now, yun nga, we have like the banks, we have our cards, we have debit, credit cards. I don't have a credit card. I only
Neither
have a
do
debit.
No, same,
I.
exactly. I was gonna say na parang one of my factors into my financial freedom is like being able to get my own credit card and being able to like
Yeah.
really parang make it my own, you know,
Oo.
not
Yeah.
because with credit card you have to pay for it after
Oo.
every few.
Actually, okay, meron akong tip.
Yo.
Kasi,
Sold.
Write that down, write that down.
Ano na?
so, kung sa inyo, wala pa kayong credit card, well, there's one sa Security Bank.
Ooh. I love it.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
napakadali lang naman kasi kapag sa Security Bank kayo,
Mhm.
and maganda siyang credit card. Ako, I have a World Mastercard yung gamit ko, Security Bank talaga. Because as a traveler, okay na okay yun sa mga airport lounges.
That's what I use
Diba?
also.
I have
Okay.
World.
World.
Akala ko
That's what I
fancy
use
lang
also.
siya.
Okay.
Diba? Okay siya. Any airport lounge, okay siya. But, for those of you na parang never pa kayo nagka-credit card talaga,
No.
pwede kong ma-recommend yung Wave Mastercard. It's from Security Bank also. Yung doon naman kasi, wala silang annual fee. And there's also 1% cashback with the Wave Mastercard. So if ever, na-bet nyo nang mag-apply ng mga ganyan, yun.
Can you clarify like what's like the annual fee?
The annual fee is what you pay every year when you have a credit card.
Ah, okay, when you spend it.
Oo,
and
when you
then-
spend.
okay,
Pero,
okay.
dito, wala na yun. Hindi ka na magbabayad ng ganun. Like,
It's very helpful.
diba?
Yeah. Kasi
Collins
ako,
is like
parang,
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
enthralled.
what if
He's
what's
like,
happening?
I have no idea what any of this is. I'll be completely
Gusto mo ba
honest.
ng gusto mo ba ng credit card, Collins? Gusto mo na? Now that you've heard.
yeah, Security Bank.
Bukas
I
mag-a-apply
think,
na yan.
yeah, I think so. No, I think it
But
would
you
be
have to go to
nice
the
to
bank.
have.
Pwede call na lang.
Maybe there's an online option.
No, just accompany yung
Oo, samahan kita.
I'll be good, guys.
Laguna branch. Yun nga lang.
Security Bank Laguna branch.
Doon masasamahan kita.
It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Just for the credit card.
Yeah.
Wait lang, as a newbie talaga, like, how do you explain in pop terms?
Terms.
In Gen Z terms.
In Gen Z
So to
terms.
slayfully get your credit card, you must eat at the bank.
Can't eat the bank.
Oh, go.
No,
Yes,
but like,
yes, sorry. Yeah.
How does it work basically?
Siyempre, meron kang credit limit niyan. Ibibigay sa'yo yun yung bago yung credit limit nyo. So, that credit limit doesn't mean na pera mo na yan. Hindi yan binibigay sa'yo. Okay? So, let's say may credit limit ka na 30,000 na binigay ni
Mm-mm.
bank. That 30,000 is not for free. Okay? Yan ay...
Wag na pala.
Binigay na lang, di ba?
Wag na pala.
Wakat na ako, guys. Bye-bye na. Charot.
Hindi, kasi other people think talaga na parang once they have a credit card, oh, I can swipe.
Gastos na,
Swipe na natin
yeah.
to, may panggastos ako, ganyan. But it's not like that. Kasi, utang yun, kaya nga credit card. Kasi uutangin mo yun kay bank when you want to get that thing. So, you have to know na kaya mong bayaran yon by next month. Yun. That's how credit cards work. Basically,
Okay.
parang may extra money ka,
Yeah.
pero hindi mo yun dapat laging lahat gagastusin kung wala kang pambayad for the next month.
It's an exercise of like budgeting in a sense, but like knowing your money,
Yes.
knowing how much.
Pero
you
actually,
earn,
parang more
how much you spend.
responsibility. Kasi
Responsibility,
yung
discipline.
unang credit card ko, guys, nakalimutan ko magbayad.
Oh my gosh!
May extra fees!
Oo, yan. May late payment ka tuloy. So, yun. But it is a responsibility
magic.
talaga. Having a credit card is a big responsibility. So,
Yeah.
That's
you
true.
shouldn't take it for granted. Especially, di ba pag nag-a-apply ka ng credit card, ang hirap ma-approve. So, kapag meron ka ng credit card, don't take it for granted.
That's true. Especially with Security Bank. I think nung student ako, my first credit card, yung hinanap ko talaga no annual fees. Sobrang dami kong hinanapan na banks. Tapos, that's why I'm happy na Security Bank, meron siyang no annual fees. Yung ibang banks kasi, meron talaga. Like, let's say annual fees per year, siguro 2.5 to 5K siya per year. Usually ganun. So, I'm happy na Security Bank, no annual fees. Sobrang laking tulong niya, especially if you're still a student or a freelancer or a working student. It's a huge
Malaki
difference.
din yun 5,000 a year.
Sobra. Ilang blind boxes yun.
Yun pala yung sabihin ko nga.
Best way of measuring natin blind
Teka,
boxes
valid reasoning.
Pero valid naman yung reasoning.
Dagdag
Para
siya sa budget
ito
mo.
yung Gen Z
Correct.
terms na hinahanap natin. This is how you explain a Gen Z
How many
terms, guys.
blind boxes can you buy with that?
Slay. Yun rin talaga eh.
Sa totoo lang, guys, dapat hindi kayo matakot sa credit card. Kasi yung credit card na yan, kaya lang naman nagkaroon ng mindset ng tao na parang enemy mo yung credit card is because those people, hindi nila na-plan ng maayos yung
Yeah.
spending habits nila. Kaya biglang inaano, kasi yung credit card na yan, tukso. Old ano na yan eh. So, don't treat credit cards as your enemy. Treat it as a tool, a helping tool na sa buhay mo. Kasi all of us, we have to spend. Hindi lang sa luho, sa like everything talaga. Every day, may gagastusin tayo. So, credit cards really help us in that sense. Especially when you want to build your credit score,
Yeah.
yung mga ganyan, in the future, kailangan mo yun. Kailangan maging really responsible. Yun lang.
Actually, can I add to that
Okay.
also? As someone na parang, I got my credit card kasi college pa ako. So, parang my mindset that time is I'm getting this because I want na as long as I'm parang mas bata, mas maganda kasi you get to build your own credit score as young as possible. So, siguro, yun, sa mga college students na nanonood, it's also nice to have your credit
Collins?
card as young as possible because you get to build your own credit score. And it's very important when you grow like in a full-grown adult.
I have 1 year left to get a credit card before graduation.
I want to ask again, like credit score. That's also something that I'm not really like all that familiar about. Like, what is credit score? Like, how do you build it? What's the the
Yes.
benefits of it? I guess.
Basically, credit score is a good relationship na kailangan mong ma-build with the bank.
Parang
Ah.
sinusuyo mo din sila.
Gen Z
Bank terms.
Parang nililigawan mo yung bank, ganon.
Building the trust.
Building the trust,
Trust
building a
is
good
earned.
relationship.
Look
Parang,
at me. I'm responsible with my money.
para
Please give me
sabihin
more.
mo sabihin mo kay bank na, eto ako maayos ako. Bigyan mo na ako ng
So just like dating,
Oo, ganon.
kailangan mo
So,
ligawan
syempre
muna.
si bank, matutuwa sa'yo, ay, okay ka pala. Sige, ito pera. Ganon.
Ganun pala yun.
So, no to low credit scores. Yes to growing them.
Yes, being responsible.
Yes to being responsible.
To build a good credit score, kailangan nyo lang talagang magbayad ng maayos. No late payments dapat.
Exactly. Totoo yun, totoo yun.
Na-affect ba yung credit score mo?
No, kasi binawi ko siya next month.
Tama yan.
Girl math.
Girl math. Girl math, girl boss.
Maybe I might get a credit card soon.
With Justine in Laguna.
Yes.
Before
Security
5 p.m.
Bank.
Before 5
The
p.m.
Wave Mastercard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Wave
The
Mastercard.
Wave Mastercard. Kasi no annual fees, 1% cashback. And we love to see it.
It's a beginner-friendly kind of
Yes.
credit card. Yeah, for like younger students and everyone who wants to, have more purchasing power and like specifically like Security Bank, as you said, yung sa Laguna, anywhere, Security Bank anywhere. But like, how does it kind of help younger people, beginners and people who are scared of
Okay.
scared of credit cards and banks? Are there like ways that they kind of alleviate that stress or that anxiety?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said earlier, kapag wala ka pang credit card and you're starting pa lang, natatakot ka pa sa mga banks, 'di ba? And all those responsibilities. And also, kung saan mo kukunin yung pera, 'di ba?
Yeah.
But
That
then, with Security Bank nga kasi, wala silang annual fee. So, since walang annual fee,
Mhm.
minus na yung iisipin doon. Wala na yan. Tanggal mo na si 5,000, whatever. Tapos, even if gastos ka ng gastos, meron naman siyang 1% cashback. So, makakatulong din yun na medyo parang meron kang 1% sale all the time. Di ba? But then, to have that purchasing power na meron kang extrang makukuhanan for emergency, it's a good thing. So, again, getting a credit card na walang annual fee with 1% cashback is already a great thing. So, kailangan mo nang kumuha. Tsaka, huwag ka nang matakot kasi pwede yung mga ganyan online.
Hindi na siya kailangan sa Laguna, Brad.
Mga introverts na
Oo.
ayaw pumunta sa bank.
O, diba? At least now, it's easier to get a credit card.
Definitely.
Thank you online.
Thank
Oh,
you,
thank you
Security
talaga.
Bank.
Thank you, Security Bank.
Yeah, thank
I
you,
kind of
Security
it
Bank.
is something that I want to like try out because it's also a mark of like having more purchasing power and having more like opportunities, I guess.
Yes.
To kesa lang yung I just have all my money and it's just like accumulating the butts.
Yeah. It also feels like such a like big boy step, like
Yeah.
I get a credit
Yeah.
card, big
Yes.
boy now.
adult.
Yeah, adult now.
Adult na
Parang
daw.
gets naman cash is good, but having a credit card
Yeah,
na
there are
is
benefits,
better. Diba? May mga plus you get perks with a credit card. Because sometimes, di ba kapag may, kunyari
me
sa
more.
restaurants, pag sa restaurants when they have promos, you can use a
yeah.
credit card para may 50% off dun sa meal mo.
Oo.
Oh my god.
Sis, ang dami kong
Gets,
nakain.
okay. Gets ko na. That's what yung palang ginagawa ng parents ko.
Parang
spoiled ang my parents.
Oo. So kami ni Ken, minsan kapag lumalabas kami, ay, okay dito kasi may siya promo dito sa
Yeah.
restaurant na to.
Okay.
Dala mo ba yung Security Bank?
Actually, daming ang promos ng Security Bank.
Diba?
You guys might want to check it out sa online app also.
Guys, I'm
Ready na.
ready na siya.
So as you can see, we have laid out everything, all of our problems. So now it's time to send out our bat signal. And for that, we have the SOS segment in where we will be talking about specific situations, maybe for those who are facing the same problems or fears with their finances. So who knows? Maybe we got you. So let's start with the first SOS. So SOS, guys, how do I build better saving habits?
For me, I would say, as a fashion student, like from that perspective, is definitely like making sure that you know what you want to wear. Like, again, fashion perspective. But it's so easy to get carried away with things, especially that clothing is treated as a necessity. It's something that we use every single day. So it's very easy to be influenced by other people. I personally am an advocate for more mindful consumption, I would say. We live in a very over consumptive era. And so I would like to forward that whole narrative that we have to be a little more mindful in the things that we do and the things that we purchase and not just bandwagon because things are famous.
Right. Gen Z is big on sustainability din talaga.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what they say, everything in moderation. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that plays the part. And I think Security Bank, they have like a sustainable like card, no? That's what I heard kanina from Justine.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking
Can you
about
explain
it
about
kanina.
it more?
Yeah.
So, in terms of being sustainable, yung Security Bank din, pasok sila doon. It's because, 'di ba, with the cards ng mga credit card, mga plastic 'yan. But with Security Bank, they actually use 100% recycled PVC.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Look,
Oo,
we
so
have the
very
card for
very
you.
sustainable 'yon.
Sustainable.
On brand si Security
Yeah.
Bank.
Yeah, so it's like a physical manifestation of
You.
of having to to be like more
Yeah.
mindful with your consumption. It's like sort
Yes.
of this reminder that you have to be like very sustainable in your purchases. That sort of idea. I think that's really nice.
I've read
Yeah.
also actually na, sorry, journalist perspective. Kasi na para Security Bank has actually like pulled back on they're working on like their climate policy, so like like not funding as much fossil fuels.
That's
Read
very
about the
nice.
Paris Agreement, you guys. But no, it's that's something that they said. Yeah, so I guess that's another aspect of their
Yeah.
sustainability like promises and things like that.
So Nika, send us our next SOS.
Okay, SOS. What should I need to know before I apply for one? A credit or a debit card?
So, eto na. So, dalawa kasi yan. So, credit card and debit card. So, you have to know what you need. So, those two things, they have their own perks. Okay? So, for debit card, yon wala kang credit like credit card. Wala kang makukuhang monthly ganon. So, the debit card is connected to your bank account, your savings. Ang kagandahan naman of owning a debit card is that you can, sa mga ATMs, you can get or withdraw money. So, for example, when you're traveling, madali na when you have a debit card. Yon, kapag gusto nyo pa rin ng cash. Ako kasi when I travel, cash pa rin talaga gusto ko.
Same.
Yeah, same.
Kasi, parang mas nababudget ko siya. Parang nakikita ko, paubos na yung budget ko. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Diba
true.
ganon?
Yeah,
I can
Instead of
physically see it withering away.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Withering away. Instead of just tapping na parang, wala naman akong nagagastos. Di ba, iniisip mo
Yeah.
ganon?
Ignorance is not bliss. Again.
No.
Ignorance is
So,
not bliss.
ayun siya. Yun yung sa debit card. So, with the credit card naman, you have the monthly budget or allowance, kumbaga, from the bank na makukuha. So, it depends lang on what you need. Yun, it has its own perks. Ikaw, what do you think is the better one?
Well, now, because it's the only one that I own, I would say debit card. But maybe after this, maybe it'll change. Maybe I'll love credit
Pwede rin
cards
both.
more. That's
Oh.
true. Oh my gosh.
Si
Sorry,
Kiara-
I
Kiara
thought I
has
had to
both.
pick one.
both.
Yeah, Kiara has both.
Security Bank.
Yeah.
Ikaw, what about you, Kiara? What did you say about this?
Me kasi, nung nagkaroon ako ng credit card, yun na lang yung ginagamit ko. Just because I feel like security-wise also. Kasi with debit card, pag nanakaw yung debit card mo, bye-bye. But with
That's
credit
true.
card kasi, pwede mo siyang i-report, hindi makukuha yung money mo. Sobrang daming perks actually na na-realize ko lang nung nagkaroon ako ng credit card. So for me, I'd prefer a credit card over a debit card for sure.
I mean, given your story a while ago about you forgetting to pay, I think you enjoyed
But
it.
you know
I
what?
think you
At
enjoyed
least
a lot.
nabawi siya.
Lesson
Nabawi lang.
learned.
Tama.
Joke
That's
lang.
actually leading us to our last SOS. Very connected to that naman. Like, how can using either or both, help me deal with my finances better?
For me, well, perspective of a debit card
Oh,
user.
As a debit card.
As a debit card.
Yeah,
as a debit card. As a debit card. No, for me, when you talked about like having cash and like seeing your money like go places, that's one of the big reasons why I use my debit card, because I can see how much goes out, how much comes in, and stuff like that. So we mentioned it earlier about like financial literacy and how that begins with knowing how much you have and how much you're spending. And so having that physical reminder of what exactly I have, or what I have on hand in a card, that's what helps me deal with my finances better. So again, after this, maybe I'll be a credit card user, but for now, with the debit card, that's definitely what helps me deal with my finances better.
Ako, for me, with credit card and debit card, siguro dun pumapasok yung sinabi mong kaninang, like, yung Excel sheet and balancing everything. Kasi with debit card, kasi bawas na siya agad kapag ginastos mo, diba?
Oo,
Pero with
bawas na.
credit card, minsan makikita mo na lang, hala, ang dami ko na palang ginastos.
Nasa
Swipe lang ng
statement of
swipe.
account mo na nakita mo na siya.
parang
Yung bill mo.
yung accumulated expenses, magugulat ka na, minsan ang laki na pala. So, I
Oo.
think dun pumapasok yung sinasabi mong budgeting talaga, and how like
Yes.
down to the peso, it's very important because having a credit card, it's a pure responsibility. What about you?
Well, bottom line naman talaga doon, when you own these cards, whether debit or credit, makikita mo yung spending habits mo. So when you
Yeah.
see your spending habits, you know what to fix. So yun, I think it helps na hindi lang cash lagi yung pagkaano mo. 'Diba? Unless you write all your expenses down. With a credit card, you get yung statement of account nga every month so you can see nakatali na doon kung ano yung mga pinaggastusan mo.
That's what you mentioned kanina, yung Excel, it can help talaga when it comes to budgeting. Kasi 'di ba, once I receive my statement of accounts, minsan nagugulat ako na ang dami ko na palang babayaran. As in, but no worries kasi
Yeah.
'di ba with Security Bank, meron tayong online application. So when you pay your credit card, it's going to be easier for you to pay it. Unlike before, na you gotta go to
Yeah.
the bank talaga. I see before my parents would go to the bank to
Yeah.
pay talaga. Scared ka na, 'di ba? So like with the application itself, nakalagay naman doon kung kailan yung due date mo. So basically every month you have to pay for what you spent for the last month. So kailangan mo siyang bayaran. Kapag lumampas ka ng isang araw, meron ka ng fees na kailangan babayaran. I'm not sure
Mm.
how much percentage. It differs per bank. So, you gotta pay for it on the dot talaga. So, dun din papasok yung budgeting. Kailangan with the time and the date, you have to be on the dot. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's also like cut off? I've been seeing and hearing
Yeah.
that term.
Is
What's cut
there
off?
like a difference to the two?
To be honest, I'm not familiar with that. I just know now,
Just
kapag
pay.
I just know na
Just
there's
make
two
sure.
difference, 'di ba? Na parang may full payment and may hindi full payment. Ako, I encourage people to fully pay it
Fully
on a
pay.
month kasi
Yeah.
wala ka nang babayaran na excess. Alam ko kasi, based from my understanding, kapag ka half payment lang babayaran mo or the minimum amount, may extra payment siya. Yeah.
Thank you, Kiara, for your answer.
Thank you. I hope I answered it right.
No, you did. And it actually helps us a lot. Did it help
Yeah,
you?
it definitely
Will it help
helped
you?
me.
It will help you also. And I think with these situations as well, it's also important to do your research. And, when you're applying for the first time, read up on the cards that you're applying for. We did give you some insight into the Wave Mastercard, which we think really resonates with
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely,
for
definitely.
sustainability,
Everyone.
the annual fee, the no annual
Cashback.
fee, the cashback, lahat na. So, ayun.
Find out what's
So,
the right fit for you.
Yeah,
Maybe
yes.
it's
Mm.
probably gonna be the
Oo.
Wave Mastercard.
Exactly.
Just,
Yeah.
wag lang kayo mag-apply na mag-apply na.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
Sa tingin nyo na.
Yeah, keep
Diba?
tabs too.
Keep tabs.
Yeah, you have to be responsible na talaga.
Yeah. So, there you have it, besties. We have laid down the sitch, spilled the tea, and thankfully, we have sent out that SOS. And these were all answered. And what we got from out of this, I guess, was to be responsible and to set your priorities. Don't always buy blind boxes. And what about you, Nica? What did you learn from this episode?
Yeah, it's definitely like be responsible, but also like don't be afraid to kind of like branch out and not just stay like within like where you are just because like, you're earning or whether you're a student and you're getting money. You also have to like try out different avenues and branch out to be able to to maximize then everything, all the opportunities that
in
you
this
have with your
in this
finances.
lineup alone, we have very different situations and very different priorities, aspirations as well. So
Except we
really
all want to
is-
travel.
except all of us want to go to Hong Kong.
And spend.
Just bilang
And
pala.
spend.
And there is no, like with anything in life, there is no one size fits all.
Of course.
So
If there's anything else our guests would like to add to advise,
I would say definitely as students, there is room for us to learn because there's a lot of padding, I guess, before being thrust upon the adult world, So it's high time for us to like understand where that money goes, where that money will come from, and stuff like that. So it's the start of our journey to responsibility and becoming a big boy.
So sa akin naman, I think coming from someone na, adulting na talaga, living in with my boyfriend and all, I just wanna tell you viewers na kapag meron na kayong sweldo, I know we've been dealt with different cards in life, but bottom line here is kapag may sweldo tayo, gusto natin magbigay, 'di ba? Just don't give everything. Leave some for yourself. Mag-save kayo para sa sarili nyo because this is your life, this is your future. I know we love our family and all, but you have to keep some for yourself and for the family that you want to build in the future. Yon. Period.
Love.
I think hindi na ako magsasalita. Ang dami.
period na lang. Period.
Me too.
For me, ayun, make money work for you and magtipid. That's it. That's the bottom line for me.
Period.
Thank you,
Period.
Pinterest.
Thank you,
Pinterest.
And Security Bank.
And security bank. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. That's all the time we have for
Thanks.
today, and we hope that our voices helped yours clarify some things when it comes to your finances in the future, because we know that it can be scary, and we hope that you also know that we are rooting for you and you are not alone, especially. So if you need someone to go with you to the bank, nandito si Justine.
Yes.
Nandito kami.
Samahan ko
or-
kayo. Online.
or online.
Online.
Pwede na
So,
yun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There you
if you want to let your voice be heard, maybe you want to share your own thoughts or experiences, or if you have any questions for Justine or questions for anybody, or topics that you want to see us cover on the show, please feel free to leave a comment below.
So, thanks again so much to our guests for today, Collins, Justine, and Kiara, for sharing your voice on how to navigate through your finances. And this has been Bianca.
And Nica for NYLON Manila Voices.
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 Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.